Okay, so we're looking at the practice exam paper from the first year textbook, and we are on question 5. Okay, so we've got a rectangular box. They tell us the 3 dimensions there, and they're also labelled up on the diagram, and we want an expression for the volume of the box. And there's only 1 mark for that because that's relatively straightforward. So just make sure we can see the picture. So volume is going to be 3 dimensions multiplied together. So x times x plus 3 times 2x. Okay, and I mean, there's only 1 mark. I'll tidy that up a little bit. So that's going to be 2x squared times x plus 3. Okay, and then given that the volume of the box is 980, they want us to get to that cubic. So if the volume is 980, so that's probably already got me a method mark just for realizing what the question is. So I want to expand those brackets out and make it all equal to 0. And then if we go back, I think, yeah, so obviously that, oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's just a mistake there, isn't it? Minusing. Minusing. For goodness sake. What's going on there, right? I am minusing 980. And then, they've obviously then just cancelled through by 2. I think we're fine. Okay. Right, so part B. Okay, so show that x equals 7 is a solution to this equation. Now, there's only 1 mark for this. So for that, I think we're safe just to basically show that it works. So if x equals 7, 7 cubed plus 3 times 7 squared minus 490. So I'm just going to type that into my calculator just to triple check. But unless there's a mistake in the question, that should equal 0. Yeah, that does equal 0. And then as it's to show that question, I know there's only 1 mark, but always write a conclusion. So therefore, x equals 7 is a solution. I think I'll find that is a solution. Okay, so prove the equation has no other real solutions. Okay, and then this one's worth 4 marks, so we're expecting there to be a bit more to this one. So as soon as they start talking about proving something doesn't have solutions, it immediately makes me think about the discriminant, and obviously the discriminant isn't valid for a cubic, but basically, so if I know that x is 7 is a solution, I know that x minus 7 is a factor. So if I can factorize that cubic, I'll have x minus 7 as 1 factor, and then I'll have a quadratic as the other factor. And if I can show that that quadratic has no other solutions, I've answered their question. So you can do the factorizing however you prefer. You can do grid method. You can write it out as the long division. You can do it by inspection. One thing you can't do is use your calculator, because although it will solve a cubic for you, all it will do is give you the solution x equals 7, and then I think it might give you 2 answers in terms of I. Okay, so that's not going to be any help for what we're showing here. So I think grid method is probably the most common one, but it really doesn't matter. So the cubic, let's just make a note of that there, is x cubed plus 3x squared minus 490. So let's get some colour going on here. Okay, so that's going to be my only cubed term. So if that's supposed to be x cubed, let's go all out for colours, that's going to have to be x squared. If that is x squared, when I do minus 7 times x squared, I get minus 7x squared, and that's my x squared term should be 3x squared. So that will need to be 10x squared. If that has to be 10x squared, that's going to have to be 10x, so that when I do 10x times x, I get 10x squared. If that is 10x, 10x times minus 7 is going to be minus 70x. I'm not supposed to have an x term. It's supposed to be 0x. So that has to be 70x, which would mean that that has to be 70. And well, 7 sevens are 49. So that does give me minus 490, which is correct for the constant term. Okay, but you can do that sort of any method that you've got to do the factorizing is fine. So the function is x minus 7 times that quadratic in red. Okay, and then so basically we know that x equals 7 is the solution. I'm trying to show that there aren't any others. So if I do b squared minus 4ac for the quadratic, that's 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 70. So that's 100 minus 280. So that's minus 180. And I just need to clarify what I'm actually showing there. So I have shown that b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. Therefore, be really clear, there is 4 marks available here. So therefore, the quadratic has no real roots. So therefore, x equals 7 is the only solution. Okay, and so let's just keep up a little bit longer. Okay, so that would be my working. So we factorize, we took x minus 7 out as a common factor. However you want to do that is fine, as long as you end up with that quadratic. We then clearly showed that the quadratic had no real roots. So that has no roots, so x equals 7 is the only solution. Okay, let's just double check. So, yeah, so reference to the discriminant we're fine, and yeah, rest of it we're